How's it going, Radical viewers? Gaddy right back into it with another Legends of the West video. And today we are doing some more history. We are doing Billy the Kid's actual guns. Which is kind of a pain, seeing as how, this is one of those cases where there's a lot of rumors floating around about what he actually used and all that. What has pretty much been ascertained for certain is he favored 3 firearms. And those firearms would be the Colt Double Action Thunderer. I'm trying to remember what year that would be. And for the life of me, it is escaping me. I want to say 1877. I could be wrong, though. I'm not too good when it comes to the actual years of it. But anyway, that was a gun he actually got after he traded in his 1873 Colt Single Action Army and 45 Long Colt. As to what happened to that particular revolver, the Single Action Army, frankly, no one knows. The best guess anyone has is that it was lost somewhere in southern Alabama, of all places. Like, I find it hilarious how that happens. There's also a rumor floating around that around this time period, maybe he also favored a Schofield? But I think people just like throwing the Schofield out there because, well, the military at the time tried to adopt it, kind of failed because of the issue with the short 45 and long 45 cartridges, to the point where they just went with the Single Action Army because it used both. However, one thing that is pretty much ascertained as dead on certain as to actually finding a picture of the real thing, that's kind of hard to do, as there's frickin' Billy the Kid museums all around New Mexico. Or rather, in New Mexico. Is that he used an 1878 Winchester rifle. So, this was, again, it's hard to pin down. Like, I had options to me. I didn't want to do a Schofield again. Because out of everything I've read, everything I've tried to research, the Schofield's only been brought up once. And again, it's more so just, it was around the time period, there was a massive surplus of them, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah. So, we're not going to do the Schofield. We are going to try to do the Colt Thunderer, to the best of my ability in this game, the Single Action Army, and the Winchester. And again, he favored that Winchester. But we're going to start off with the Single Action. I didn't really do anything too special with this. I tried to picture what Billy the Kid would have had, because, I mean, he died at 21. He was literally a kid, essentially. So, what I kind of figured, and my assumption here, is that he wouldn't really have had the time, or really the money, to kind of bling out his guns. And this gun he did end up trading for a Thunderer later on, because he thought it was, I believe the quote was, just an overall better gun, or something along that. I'm paraphrasing. So, I went with what kind of looked like something you would just buy way back in the day, just like right off the damn shelf. Or maybe stolen from somebody you just killed. Like it did murder 9 people or more. So I kind of went with something close to our Man with No Name build here, where it's just very stock, short barrel, no improved sights or anything like that. For metals, I threw on black as steel on the barrel, the cylinder. Frame, I went with brown. Hammer, I actually made iron here, but I did that to remind me as dealer's choice. You can go with brown steel or black and steel. Both really work. I would personally say brown steel. Same with the trigger. Just kind of depends on what really your flavor here is. Again, this gun was never found. There's actually a lot of collectors out there offering massive rewards for this thing to turn up. I don't know how they're going to authenticate that it was actually Billy the Kid's Single Action Army, but more power to them. That said, because of the joy of the inaccuracy and the fact this gun has yet to turn up, obviously there's no picture. And I'm probably not going to do pictures for any of the other two either. Speaking of which, let's move on to the Colt Thunderer that he actually traded that Single Action Army for. Again, I did the exact same thing. I tried to go with something store-bought. Here on the double action revolver in the game we're given, it It honestly doesn't look like a Thunderer, like at all. Like in no freaking way does this look like a Thunderer. I almost wanted to do just another, just do the Cattleman and call it done. No, I decided not to. Probably because someone busted my balls on my Doc Holiday videos about that. But I did the exact same setup. Barrel and cylinder, all blackened. Frame, I went with brown steel. Could go with blackened. Hammer, dealer's choice, blackened or brown. Same with the trigger, sight, blackened. Simple as that. I just went with something that looked like you would have bought it off the shelf back then. And of course, you could just go flat all iron on everything and it would still sell the part. This is more like an educational video than anything, because I certainly can't find any pictures of the Thunderer either. But something I could find the pictures for, or at least potentially the actual thing, is his Winchester. And every picture I've seen of this thing in museums and such, and just on show, I'm a little thrown off, but it makes sense, I suppose. It's all black and steel. That's it. The entire thing is all black and steel, with stock iron sights. It's a nice look. It doesn't look bad. As for the varnish, I just went with mahogany. Mahogany is always my go-to if I question anything, because it's the one that looks the most, I want to say iconic, because every time I think of the wooden furnishings on an Old West gun, mahogany always seems to match what I think of. That's it. That's basically it. Just some fun little bit of history. I did so well up until that point. Just a fun bit of history about Billy the Kid and his reportedly 3 most used weapons.